All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go over the rate of change worksheet, kind of get the answers to this out there so that people who are having trouble with it can finish it. So what is rate of change in your own words? So you can look this up. You can kind of figure out what it means and the goal here is to try to put this in your own words. I'm not looking for a set right answer here. Obviously, I want something that's accurate, but it doesn't have to be the precise definition. So for us, when we talk about rate of change, is the comparison. Let me do this. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's look it up. Rate of change. See what it says on the internet. Rate of change. A rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. Rate of change is used mathematically to describe the percentage change in values over a defined period of time. That one's a little technical, not quite what we're looking for. What is rate of change? A measure of how much the function changed per unit on an interval. Let's see here. What else can we figure out? Rate of change. Well, you can kind of explore some of these things. I feel comfortable just filling out an answer here. All right. So here's my working definition: how two quantities are changing with respect to one another. When we say quantities, we're more talking about two ideas, like the amount of money that you earn per hour, how your money changes per hour. Those are the two quantities that we're dealing with. Or how many blocks are added for each figure that we increase, or a lot of different things that we can have for rate of change. Like this one, we have, what is the rate of change of this pattern? How many puppies per figure? This one was already done. I must have done this one in class, but we can see here figure 0, figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. 2 puppies per one figure. So as we go up one figure, we're adding 2 puppies from 1 to 3, from 3 to 5, 5 to 7. We're adding 2 puppies each time we increase by a figure. What is the rate of change in this pattern? Okay, again, this one's already sort of done for us, but these are the ones we did in class. So figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. So each time we change a figure, we're decreasing, we're subtracting 4 blocks. All right, here we actually have 2 different rates of change that we can talk about. This one might be worthwhile to actually put some writing down. So figure 1, how many dots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 here. So 6 dots on this one. And then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots. And then we have, okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on this one. Looks pretty constant here. It looks like each time we're basically adding 1, 2, 3, 4 dots, right? And if I connect those with my lines, you can see that that would create the next one, right? So we're adding essentially 4 dots each time. So it's 4 dots for one figure. How many lines are we adding? Okay, so in our first one, we have 1, 2, 3, 6 lines, and then we have 11 lines, and then we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 lines. Okay. And then on this next one, that would be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21 on figure 4. Pretty close, pretty similar. We're not adding 4 this time, we're adding 5. You can see it here when I drew that next shape. We drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more lines. So we're actually adding 5 lines per one figure. So dots and lines are close. We're actually using more lines than dots. It's kind of interesting there. Right? And then let's scroll on down. What is the rate of change? Sorry. What is the rate of change in this pattern? Ooh, here's a tricky little pattern. Now we're comparing how y changes with respect to x. So we need to figure out, is it going up? Is it going down? By how much? So here we're going from 38 to 27. That is a decrease of 11. If you're not sure, we can tell it's a decrease because we're going down, but another way to check this would be to subtract them to find their difference, figure out actually how much we're decreasing. So 8 minus 7 is 1, and then 3 minus 2 is 1. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, sorry about that difficulty. All right, so again, we found the difference between these two numbers. So it's 11, and we know it's decreasing because the number got smaller. So we're decreasing by 11 for y. And then x, we're going -3, -2. That's getting towards the positive, so we're actually going up, increasing by 1. So our rate of change here is -11, decreasing by 11 per 1, or per +1x. We will write that in the future as a ratio, as a fraction, -11 over 1, the change in y over the change in x, which can simplify to a single number when we do this as division to just be -11. It's kind of the future of what we were doing, or rather what we're doing right now if you're watching this much later. All right, I'm going to clear what we have here. Keep moving forward. All right, what is the rate of change in this pattern? Okay, so figure number of dots. All right, so we need to figure out both of these things. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're increasing by 2 on the figure number. So we're kind of skipping a number in between 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, but it's fine. It's increasing by 2. And our pattern here, what's happening, we're actually decreasing by 4. Okay, so it's actually decreasing by 4 dots per 2 figures. What's interesting is we could simplify this, right? We could fill in the gaps here. If we only do by 1, if we only increase by 1, we need to split this up. So actually we could decrease by 2. So it'd be 29. That way we're only decreasing by 2 and increasing by 1, but it achieves the same thing, right? So we're increasing by 1, and we are now decreasing by 2. And that works. We do it again, we end up right here. We end up right here. So this rate of change can actually be simplified to -2 dots per 1 figure. The same way that this fraction, -4/2, can be simplified into this fraction, -2/1, by simply dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. We get a reduced rate, a rate in simpler terms. It's an important concept when it comes to rate of change, is reducing the rate of change by a common factor. Okay, go ahead and move down to the next one. All right, let's look at this one here, rate of change. All right, we are going 3, so we're actually skipping 2 numbers in here. We're increasing by 3, and we are increasing from 8 to 20, which is an increase of 12. Okay, so it is 12 dots per 3 figures, 12 over 3. That rate can be simplified. We divide both of these numbers by 3, divide by 3. That rate can simplify into 4 dots per 1 figure. So this would be our reduced rate, 4 dots per 1 figure. And we could fill that in. So in figure 2, that would be increasing by 4, so we'd have 12. And then in figure 3, we'd have 16, increased by 4 again. There we go, 20. So that kind of filling in the gaps there, we can use that reduced rate to figure out some intermediate steps where we did actually skip over some figures in whatever this pattern happened to have been. Okay, clear that. Again, reducing our rate when we can is an important concept. All right, what is the rate of change of this pattern? We have the amount of money spent at a carnival, including the admission price. So rides taken is X, and money spent. So we're going to have dollars per rides taken. That's the way we're going to look at this rate. Now, this one's a little tricky because we're dealing with money. So to go from $9.25 to 11 is actually an increase of $1.75. Same idea, $1.75. Yep, and we're increasing the number of rides by 1. So it is $1.75 per one ride taken. That is our rate. Makes sense. We don't need to reduce this because it's already per one. So it's in simplest terms already. Okay, let's go and clear that. Move on to the next one. 2 more left here. All right. Here we are doing the amount of money spent at a food fair fundraiser. That's a mouthful, including the admission price. So we're doing money spent and the number of food samples tasted. Okay, so 0 food samples tasted, it was $5. That must have been the admission price. If we're already spending $5 when I haven't eaten any food, that must have been what it costs to get in, but it's not relevant right this second. We're not dealing with that, but important thing to think about. So we're increasing the number of samples by 1. So we're sampling a new place. A food fair fundraiser, I guess maybe we could think about this as more like the Taste of Champagne or something like that, where you go in and get a sample food. Anyway, let's see. We're going from $5 to $7.50. That's $2.50 difference, right? We're increasing by $2.50. Increasing by $2.50, increasing, yep. It's a constant rate, so it is increasing by $2.50 per one food sample. And again, that's already a reduced rate because it's per one. Yep, that's our rate. And then the last one here, let's look at this one. What is the rate of change in this pattern? So we're counting the hours worked. It's increasing by 5. 4 to 9, 9 to, yep, by 5. We're going 40, 90, that's increasing by $50. So it's $50 per 5 hours worked. That can be reduced because it's not per 1 hour. So we can divide those. We can divide both of those by 5 and get $10 per 1 hour worked. So $10 per 1 hour worked. That would be the rate that the person is getting paid for whatever this job is. All right, hopefully that helped you guys and you were able to complete this worksheet. Make sure to submit that and have a wonderful break.